Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're finally here. Hope you had fun today with everyone and Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas? I hope you did. We didn't do anything. We just sat here because our family has COVID. So we didn't do anything. We just, hung around, didn't do much. Watch the bushfires. There's massive bushfires out west right now. Really frightening, actually. There's a big change about to come through down here that they're sort of monitoring right now to see, well, what's going to happen probably in the next hour. So, in the next hour, the winds are going to change. And yeah, they're sort of keeping an eye on the fire front right now. So that's sort of what I'm doing. Good to see you, Penguin, Rachel, Marilyn Landis, Diane Marie, Moonlight View, Angela. Yeah, that's it. I guess everyone is Christmas out today. Hey, Glitter, good to see you. Um, I'm quite far. Hey, Sienna, good to see you. Yeah, I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Diane Marie says, "How far is the fire?" I'm far away from it. Don't be concerned about me. I'm fine. I can show you. So let me take you over here. Let me take you over here. Oh, that didn't work. Ping, what did you do? Um, here. So this is actually sort of the region where the fire is right now. This is the Grampians National Park in Victoria. This is where one of the big fire fronts are. There've been fire dropping water along a region up near here. There's a zoo up here. Hey, Halls Gap Zoo. They've been dropping water all over here on this ridge line. I don't know why. I don't know if they're worried it's going to hit the zoo over here or towns and houses like down here. But they've been water dropping just outside here all day, and the fire is actually quite large. I think it spreads from the northern point up here all the way down to the southern, down on this corner of the Grampians, and they're worried about this change coming through. I think the changes have been the original wind today was going north, and then I think the fire later on is supposed to go east. So they're supposed to get an easterly come through and push east later, which will change the fire direction. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. What is going on with my camera? Hold on. There we go. Hey guys, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm sorry I'm wearing this ugly sweater again. I guess that's a Christmas tradition, right? Yeah, sorta. Yeah, hey, retired Ren, how are you? Good to see you, video reel. Oh, we've it feels like right now that we just can't win. We can't win anything right now. You guys know about the crazy computer issues I had since I got home, the stuff that happened on holidays. My parents got COVID, so we didn't have Christmas. Well, now the cats got sick. So both our cats have cat flu, and they caught something at the cat place they were at when we went on holiday. They've both caught something and they're both sneezing like crazy. So it's got to go back to the vet, I think, in the next couple of days and go get some antibiotics for them. It's like one thing after another at Christmas time. It's like the rest of the year, nothing happens. Christmas time, everything happens all at once. So they've been a bit. Muffin started sneezing this morning, so we're like, oh no. And when Rory had surgery last week, oh, it's just one of those times. Unfortunately, our vet is closed. Our vet doesn't reopen until the 6th of January. So we're going to have to find a different vet to go to over the holidays. Just one of those crazy freaking things. Yeah, happy holidays. Yeah, so they're not Rory had it first, but she sort of got over it, and then Muffin started this morning. We just thought it was from her surgery that it was irritating her nose. And we're like, oh, it'll get better when she heals from her surgery. And then Muffin started doing it this morning, and we're like, wait a second, that why would it transfer to the cat who's not sick, like that didn't have surgery? So, can cats get kennel coughs? It's similar. It's like a cat cold. But they got vaccinated. We spent hundreds of dollars vaccinating them before they went in. So I don't know why they would get it. because we got them a level 3 vaccination before we took them. You had to get it like a few weeks beforehand, so it had enough time to work, sort of like a human vaccination. And I don't know, they came home, they were okay for a while, and all of a sudden, they're not okay. R- Rory, can you? Rory, come on. Hold on, guys. All right. Sorry, Rory being naughty. She just knocked over a bunch of stuff. Retirement says, "Did you get a lump of coal? You may have been a bit naughty this year. You may have been a bit naughty, yeah." So let's get on to it. True crime. I have some interesting stories for you, and I think the biggest crime of all might be this. I have the largest holiday crime, maybe ever, and it happens every year without fail. Do you want to know what it is? It's this. Woolworths and Coles spark fury over major hot cross buns announcement just one day after Christmas. So, after one day after Christmas in Australia, they start selling Easter hot cross buns. So, if you don't have these in America, I don't know if they're a European, English, Australian thing, but they're basically spiced bread fruit buns. Then they start selling them on Boxing Day. This, to me, might be the holiday crime of the century. I think consumerism has taken a very poor angle that we need to start celebrating Easter a day after Christmas. Rachel said, sadly, sometimes vaccines don't quite work for the exact virus that caused it. Just so happens that the other, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get them to a vet. Um, yeah, let's say, hey, Merry Christmas, Kaliza. Good to see you. Gail says we haven't stopped selling them this year. They do stop here sometime in August, September, when they start gearing up for Christmas. They don't sell them, and then as soon as Boxing Day, they start selling them again. So I don't know. Some people reckon this is the biggest crime over Christmas. The fact that these are back. This is today. This is a photo from today. Going, enjoy your Easter now that Christmas is over and it's 100 degrees outside. Have your winter bakery treat in the heat. I don't know. I think personally, I think it's a little too early. I think it takes away from events being special like Easter. It doesn't make it fun. If you can get it all year round, what makes that time of year like something to look forward to? And oh my God, they're back out again. Hey, I could have some of that. That's why I love Easter. I don't understand selling it for 9 months out of the year. They actually used to sell them and then take the white cross off the top, and they'd be like, "We have fruit buns. We don't sell hot cross buns. We just have fruit buns. They're exactly the same, but they just don't have a white cross on it." They used to do that to try and get around the people. Texas says, "Merry Christmas, everyone." Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too. Gayla says, "Normally stop. I've seen them all year." Okay, they don't do that here. Texas Roadrunner said, "I saw Valentine candy already out at HEB. That is concerning, but at least that sort of is a thing because Valentine's Day is only 8 weeks away. I sort of get that. I mean, it's the next holiday. It's not really Easter. It's Valentine's Day. Actually, in Australia, the next holiday for us is Australia Day on the 26th of January. So that's our next big public holiday is the very maligned, much controversy Australia Day on the 26th of January. It's supposed to be a day of celebration of our country, has turned into a very political sort of civil unrest type of day. New Year, Nah, it's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. We don't celebrate calendars. Yeah, New Year's probably the big one. I meant after New Year's. Rachel said, "Yeah, I saw Valentine's candy before Christmas. People just love love. They just want to get into the love business." That sounds wrong, but yes, that's what they want to do. All right. Do you guys want some real true crime? All right. I found this, and I'm gonna just grab you this. Ay ay ay. Come on, links. Why are you not working? My links apparently don't work today. Texas Roadrunner says, "Do you have kangaroo-shaped pinatas?" No. And by the way, I actually, in my half sleepiness, I don't know why this happened. I think it's because I've redone this computer and all my links. The link in the title is actually a story from 2.5 months ago. I thought it was my next story on my list, and it's not. It's actually a story from 2.5 months ago. So we're not actually going to do that. We're going to do a different story. Just let me grab. I'm gonna have to read. Oh, muffin. Oh, that was wowie. Give me a sec. I'm now going to rejig everything because we have no. We're not going to do that one. By the way, no update about that guy that was found yesterday, but I did see something interesting, and I thought you guys might find this interesting. If I can grab this. So you know how I said I wanted to find a. I was like, I was looking while I was on holidays. I was like, maybe I could solve my own crime while I'm on holidays, like I'm Inspector Cluedo or something. A week after I leave the area, they find a body. I'm not kidding. They found a body about not far from where I was staying actually. Yeah, I'll show you. A bushwalker, unfortunately, it's not no one was murdered, but they did find a body. They say a bushwalker has tragically been declared dead after being found on a remote and rugged Australian hiking trail on Christmas Day. They say emergency services were contacted about 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday after hikers found the 60-year-old man unresponsive by a track on Cradle Mountain in Tasmania. Tasmanian police attended to the man near the junction of Hanson's Peak and Twisted Lakes tracks soon after, but sadly pronounced him dead. They say preliminary investigations suggest there are no suspicious circumstances. Our thoughts are with the man's family and loved ones at this difficult time. The cause of death is unknown at this stage, and a report will be prepared for the coroner. Yeah, so this mountain here, this is Cradle Mountain right here. This mountain was in the background of all the wedding photos uh that we took. So we were in some direction around that mountain. I'm not going to give you the exact location, but we were somewhere around that mountain and somewhat closer than this photo because we could actually see the top of the mountain where we were. But yeah, a body found a week after Ping left. am am I Dexter? Am I Dexter? No, I'm not Dexter. How would that happen? He died on Christmas. I was already back in Melbourne. I was already here. Yeah, it wasn't me. I hid it there. I hid it before I left. I went on a hiking trail that was 3 hours out of my way around the other side of the mountain, hid a body, made it back to my accommodation before any of my 53 family that were there noticed I was missing. And trust me, my family are very snoopy. They will know if I'm anywhere that shouldn't be with them. So if I wasn't with them, they'd know I was missing. And somehow made it back to Melbourne without anyone finding the body for a week. I don't know. It sounds to me like possibly he was jogging or hiking and ran into a medical emergency. Yes. With Mrs. Ping, they're now implicating you in a murder. Well, not a murder, but the guy died somehow. Apparently, we made it look like a murder, even though. No, no. We made it look like a medical emergency and we hid a body in Tasmania. Yeah. Do you remember doing that? Don't speak to police. I wonder if it was the heat stroke. That was the cover story. That was the cover story. Heat stroke. No, this happened way after. This happened way after we left. But it is interesting that it's sort of it's sort of, we were sort of looking out for it. We're like, I wonder if it's in this part of the world, because we were hoping that there was something we could actually show you live. And not that we hope that people die or anything, but I don't know, someone breaks into a shop or something, and we were going to go down there and live stream it. But we were sitting in this country town for, I don't know, 5 days, 6 days, and nothing happens in this country town. I'm not kidding. It's like nothing happens. Everyone wakes up in the morning, they go jogging, they walk their dogs, and they go back home. They go to sleep, they wake up, they walk their dogs, they go back home, they go to sleep. It's it's an interesting place. Don't confess. Don't confess without a lawyer. Gayla says, obviously you were both drunk. We were pretty blitzed, but not paralytic or anything. We had a bit to drink, but it wasn't crazy amounts. Retired says, don't talk to LE without a lawyer. That's right, I won't. Were the fish and chips good? I don't think we had fish and chips while we were there. Did we have fish and chips in Tasmania? No, I don't think we did. I think what did we eat? We ate at the wedding. There was nice food at the wedding. We got Chinese on the way in because we were so tired. We just went into a takeaway on the way in the first night. No, the first night we had I think we had Chinese in the end because we couldn't find anything. By the time we got in on the Thursday, it was so late. Everything had started shutting down. By the time I finished with you guys in the multi-level car park I was in, filming and showing you guys the ocean, dude, everything was shut. We got out of there, it was like nothing open. It just shuts down at like 5:30. Everything just closes. It's not like Melbourne where everything's open till 10:30, 11 p.m. It just everyone goes home at 5:30. It's the weirdest place, I'm telling you. Um, we got out of the family dinner on Friday, and it was like 11:30. We drove around the city. There was no one there at like 11:30 on a Friday in the school holidays, Christmas holidays. I don't think we spotted one person on the street in like a major town. It has like an airport, it has, bars and clubs. There's no one there. 11:30 on a Friday night. Sounds like a place I may have to visit. It is extremely quiet. If you like quiet places and you like the peace and tranquility, head to Burnie in Tasmania. I'm not going to give you the suburb we went to, but Burnie's one of the other places that we went to. Burnie in Tasmania it's a interesting place. So there you go, dead body in Tasmania in the northwest, and it didn't happen while we're there. You cannot implicate us. We didn't do anything. We didn't kill a 60-year-old man and dump him there. You cannot implicate us in the crime. All right, let's move on. Story out. We will go to Texas, so I'm going to show you this out of Houston. Here we go. Or KPRC TV, which is Click to Houston. Here we go.
And right now at 6 o'clock, Christmas is anything but normal for one Brookshire family now mourning the loss of their son. Tonight, his family shares their grief and their mission to find his killer. Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Bill Spencer, and we do begin with this family spending this Christmas without their son while his killer is still out there running free. Police say 32-year-old Rafael Davis was found dead in the Buffalo Bayou near North York Street on November 19th. Investigators say he had been shot in the chest. Now, KPRC2's Corley Peel is speaking with Davis's parents about their prayers for justice on this Christmas.
His family lives in Brookshire, but they've been trying to get the word out here in Houston after Davis's body was found here in the bayou without any explanation. What would Christmas typically be like if Raphael was here?
Well, first of all, we'll probably be opening gifts, and by this time he'd be hungry, so we'll be getting ready to eat. But this is definitely not a normal Christmas.
Waking up on Christmas brought a somber and empty feeling for Raphael Rogers Davis's parents. The 32-year-old was tragically murdered last month. His parents say he was last seen leaving the Harris County Jail. They had a tracker on his car for safety because he struggles with depression. They learned his car was impounded.
I went back and looked on the website and seen that he went on the 11th of November and was released on the 12th. So this is about the 14th or the 15th now. So we were expecting a call from him.
James Davis says his son never called. Instead, he got a call from the medical examiner on November 19th saying his son's body was found. Where did they find him?
They found him in Buffalo Bayou, and that he had a gunshot wound to his chest, and that was the cause of death.
It's unclear exactly where Davis was killed or why. His family feels the white and light purple Air Jordans he left the jail in could be a clue.
When they found his body, he didn't have any shoes on, so we don't know if someone robbed him for his shoes or what.
Davis's family trying to hold on to their Christmas memories.
My favorite Christmas memory is he would come and bring his son, and we would just spend time together, eat, and just talk, laugh, and have fun.
But all they can think about is justice.
We just want the killer to know that we're never giving up. We're going to fight until the end.
This is definitely one of the Christmas that I'll never forget. I'll never forget. And I'm not going to stop trying to find out who took my son's life. I'm not going to stop.
I'm going to stop it there. I have more information. I think it's incredibly sad. Here's a photo of him, Raphael, here. It says here, the mum and dad from Brookshire will be missing their son this holiday season after they said he was shot and killed and found in Buffalo Bayou last month. They said they're hoping the community can help find his killer. His body was found along the bayou across from East River 9 golf course last week. His parents walked down the trails handing out flyers with the hopes that somebody knows what happened. I don't think someone just gets shot for, like, there has to be someone who heard a gun go off. I'll have to look up this area and what's around there, but I mean, it seems awfully personal that he was shot in the chest. It doesn't seem like a stray bullet or something. I mean, it could have been, but it almost seems like someone was maybe trying to rob him, or I don't know, something like that. They're saying, we miss Raphael. We would get together for the holidays and spend time together. His birthday was coming up on January 2nd. She can now only look at photos of the 32-year-old and the flyer. They say, it won't be a normal Christmas for me. This was my only son, according to his father, James. He said his son was struggling with depression and went without his medication for several months. It's almost like giving us like mixed signals, right? With some of the information, even though they think it's a murder. They're saying on November 12th, the family said he was released from Harris County Jail. Court records show it was for a misdemeanor theft charge. They said, we'd been waiting on him to call us. He didn't call home like he normally would do. On the 19th, I was at work. I got the call that they found his body. Houston police found the body along the bayou on North York Street. A medical examiner's report said Roger was shot in the chest. And according to his family, Houston PD do not have a suspect, but some of the victim's belongings were stolen. They say we found out that they took his brand new Jordans. We don't know if he was murdered for his shoes or he had an altercation with someone and it went bad and they took his life. The family provided a photo of Rogers wearing the white Jordans, a dark-colored hoodie, and a gray pants. Rogers also had duct tape on both lenses of his glasses. The family is hoping someone may have witnessed the shooting and will come forward to police. They said, I know the police are working on the case. but I just want to find the killer that did it. Crime Stoppers Houston has a $5,000 reward for information that could lead to an arrest. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers or the Houston PD. That is a very awful story for that family. Sounds like that guy's been through a bunch of challenges in life. Maybe not heading down the greatest of tracks, but at the same time, that doesn't give anyone a reason to murder someone. Really awful case. I don't think it's nice for anyone's family member to be found shot and killed at the side of a bayou. I think we can all do better than that. That's awful. And hopefully someone saw it. Let's have a look. What's the address here? East 9 Golf Course and Buffalo Bayou. Let's have a look. East 9 River Golf Course. What's this area like? Seems to be a public golf course in Houston. Okay, here we go. So this is the Buffalo Bayou here. And this is the golf course East 9. So what was the description? Across from the East 9 River Golf Course. Okay, well that's a hard description because that golf course is quite large. But there is some, banks here where you could easily put or try and hide a body, even down here. But this is the golf course, obviously right here. There's the bike trail. There's not too much here. You would see it if it was right here. It's not covered enough. I'm going to guess it's up here where these sandy banks are. I think it would be... Was he found on the trail or off the trail? Missing son found killed. Then found in Buffalo Bayou. In or next to? What are the... We have to get better with our words, people. I'm going to say it's somewhere here. Because that's right across from the golf course. And if you were on the trail, you may not see it unless you came down to the waterway. But yeah, it's pretty... You think this would be pretty... used frequently by people walking their dogs, jogging or something. It's a bike trail. There's probably people on it every morning. And where does it lead to? It leads to Hirsch Road. Hirsch Road. Where does Hirsch Road go? Probably into the city. It does. Okay. But the back of this is all industrial. What is this? Fortune Rags, Arc Trading, and the Texas Railway Preservation Association. The hell is that? What do they do? Preserve railways that no one uses. Is that what they do? I don't know what they do. Arc Trading. It seems like this place is shared by 3 different companies. And what's this? Base 3 Farms Cube Work. I like to cube work sometimes. I like to work in my medium, which is cubes. Yeah, so it is somewhat desolate behind here, but you would expect at least a public golf course. Maybe not at night, but in the morning there'd be a lot of people taking a round of golf at like 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm sure this place is packed pretty frequently with golfers because this is supposed to be a pretty cheap, if not free. I'm not sure if it's free, but I read a little review of it that this is like a hidden gem in Houston that you can get there and play a decent round of golf. Yeah, what's further up here? Up the bike path. It leads to South Jensen Drive and a place called The Stairs. I like that. Why is it called The Stairs? Because they have stairs, Ping. Look. Three sets of them. And look, what's this? Little kayaks or boats. What do you call them? Kayak. So it looks like there is a launch here for people who are doing kayaking. You definitely would... Yeah, I'm going to say that if it was late at night, you might struggle to find a witness, but if it happened during daylight hours, maybe, then you might get lucky that someone was jogging through here, was on the waterway, or was visiting the golf club, you might get lucky, but it is very industrial, which makes it a prime spot for people to get away with crap, because normally people don't hang around industrial areas, at night, in the afternoon. Most people are gone home. I would not be surprised if someone in the chat told me there's a huge homeless population here. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not blaming them, just saying that it looks like it's a fairly open area, especially down here. There's a big, near the highway, there's a big open flat area here, especially over this side too. I hope his family get the justice they want. Can't be easy to not only have your loved one not at home for the holidays, but to also not know why they died and not understand why that had to happen. It's really not very nice. Who did he rob to get a night in jail? It's a misdemeanor, so it means it's under $700, right? In Texas, let me double check that. I'm pretty sure it has to be under a certain amount to be a misdemeanor in Harris County. Let me check here, Harris County. It is. It depends. I don't have a classification, whether it's a class A, B, or C. What does it say here? It doesn't say. It's for misdemeanor theft charge. So it depends. If it's the lowest level for Harris County, it's $50 or less, punishable by a fine of up to $500. Class B is property valued between $50 and $500, punishable by 180 days in jail or a fine of $2,000. Or a Class A misdemeanor, which is theft of property valued between $500 and $1,500, punishable by up to 12 months in jail and or a fine of up to $4,000. Something tells me if he was kicked out the next day, it probably wasn't a Class A misdemeanor, because he'd probably need bail. I'm going to say it must be a low value to be able to be basically brought in, charged, processed, and then booted back on the streets 24 hours later. Let's have a look. Let me search his name, see if we can find a better walk down of what he did the day before. Theft. All right. All right. It doesn't say. It just says, James said his son was last seen leaving the Harris County Jail on November 12th. His parents had a tracker on his car for safety because he struggles with depression. They learned his car was impounded. They said, I looked on the jail website and saw that on November 11, he went in on November 11 and was released November 12th. They said they were expecting a call from him, which never came. Their son never called. Instead, James received a call from the medical examiner saying his son's body had been found. Detectives recovered his body near the 900 block of North York Street on November 19. North York Street. North York Street is right there in the 900 block. I don't think I get... There's 700. 500, 700, 900. Let's have a look. The 900 block is right here. All right, here, let me show you that. So the 900 block is right here. So right near, sort of here. As you can see, 974. I don't know if that's fully correct, but this is North York Street right here. So somewhere up here. I don't know. That's a pretty general description, but what is this? Is this an underpass right here? Wouldn't be the first person to be shot and killed under an underpass. It's happened so many times it's not even funny. And there's a bit of an outreach here, or an outcrop right here too. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What else do they say? They say at this time it's unclear where or why Davis was killed. I think that's an interesting clue. At this time, it's unclear where or why. We don't know the why, but where. So are they saying that he may have been dumped? That he may not have been shot in that location? So that when people say they don't know where he was killed, I automatically think that he was killed in a different location, and then they just put him there somewhere they thought no one would find him for a period of time, but maybe he was shot and killed in the location they found him. They said when they found the body, he didn't have any shoes on, so we don't know if someone robbed him for his shoes or what. They said they just want the killer to know that they're never giving up. We're going to fight until the end. So it's just in his best interest to go ahead and turn himself in. It's not the greatest threat I've ever heard, but sure. I agree with you. I agree. He should turn himself in. Don't kill people. They say this is definitely one of the Christmases that I'll never forget. I'm not going to stop trying to find out who took my son's life. I'm not going to stop until I breathe my last breath. That was his father. I hope they can figure it out. I really do. That is brutal. Killer on the run. Yep. So, Brooke Sheila. Yeah, so that's it. We don't know, but you start saying why or where, I start getting concerned. Ladybird Lake has been quiet lately. I think DJ sent me a story that someone died there like a month ago. I'm pretty sure DJ sent me an article saying there was another death. I can show it to you if you want. Hold on. Let me search my emails from DJ. Hold on, let me check. Let me check here. Ladybird Lake. Yeah, there is. It was like a few days ago.
Another body has been found in Lady Bird Lake. Austin police say the 911 call came in around 10:50 this morning. People saw an older white or Hispanic man in the water near South First Street on the north shore of the lake. When emergency responders got there, they determined the man was dead. APD says there are no signs of trauma that would lead them to believe it was a homicide, but the investigation is ongoing.
That they're examining, the medical examiner's office and the homicide unit are inspecting the body for signs of any type of injury. They'll also investigate the circumstances surrounding how that person ended up there at that date and time, and provide and understand those things as the investigation goes on. We also want to acknowledge that the public is instrumental in cases like this. So everything from citizens that call 911 to people that can provide any information.
Again, if you saw what happened today or anything suspicious, you are asked to call Austin police.
There you go. That was 5 days ago on the 20th of December. Marlene Clausen, you jinxed it. You jinxed it. You're like, it's been pretty quiet on Ladybird Lake. Or, no, they found another body. It claims another life. They're saying Austin police investigating after another body found in Ladybird Lake. Body was found in the water near First Street Bridge. Again, it's always near that bloody bridge. They're saying the Austin Police Department is investigating. Detectives responded at just before noon to the report of a dead person in the water near First Street Bridge and the 300 block of Cesar Chavez. I'm hopefully pronouncing it right. Probably not. APD says it's a death investigation and that as of right now, there is no foul play suspected. Sure, I believe you, sorta. They're saying this is one of at least 6 deaths in or near the lake so far just in 2024. The most recent body was found on December 1. The victim was recently identified as a 73-year-old that looks like a Thai or Viet last name, Nugent. I hope I'm hopefully pronouncing that right. Probably not again. They're saying, while speaking about his death, the 73-year-old, Austin police said there was nothing connecting the deaths this year. What about all the other deaths? Can you connect them? They said 2 of those were in the same area where the 73-year-old was found, on the north side of the lake within a couple of blocks of Congress Avenue. In September, a man was behaving erratically near the area, and then he went into the water and did not resurface. He was pulled out and pronounced dead. Back in February, a woman's body was found in the water about 20 feet from the north shore. There are other deaths around the lake this year that were also ruled not suspicious. In April, a fisherman spotted a person floating in the water at the east end of the lake. Bodies everywhere. In July, a man was suffering from blunt force trauma on the trail near Rainy Street. The man was pronounced dead a short time later. In September, a body was found along a trail near the lake off Pleasant Valley Road. Police have taken great pains in recent years to put the rumors of a serial killer to rest, saying there's no evidence that points to that, but as the deaths continue, many just aren't convinced. Didn't the city just put in like $3 million worth of lighting, CCTV, better pavements, better railings, these type of safety type of things in the area? I'm sure they did, in response to the people dying in the water. Hold on, I'm sure they did. It was millions of dollars. Ladybird Lake. Planning Commission unveiled a new plan to further development a city district surrounding Ladybird Lake in a series of community meetings. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll find it. All right, I found it. They had this plan here. City of Austin adding lighting and lake barriers to improve near Rainy Street. I heard they're also putting in cameras. Cost was something like 3.2 million to the city to do this plan. Originally supposed to go in around 2023, but was delayed to 2024 after funding disagreements or something, or planning disagreements. And they were supposed to do it before this summer in Austin, which was back in July. But I don't know if they ever did it. They're saying here, after the deaths of Jason, John, and others, the city of Austin is working to improve the safety near Rainy Street. This comes after multiple bodies were recovered from Ladybird Lake. Subsequently, families demanded better lighting and cameras in the area. February 6, 2023 through to February 13th was a difficult time for 30-year-old Jason John's family. John disappeared on February 5th after he was seen leaving Rainy Street walking towards Ann and Roy Butler Hike and bike trail near the Ladybird Lake. His body was found 8 days later. To improve visibility, the city of Austin is adding 4 solar lights and a barrier near the lake. They say that temporary lighting and that temporary fence is not going to satisfy me as a mother. That's John's mother. CBS Austin spoke with John's family to hear their thoughts about the added safety measures. John's mother, Elise, says, while it's a step in the right direction, more needs to be done. And yeah, I know there was more of this that was supposed to be underway. Let me just see if I can find. I know it got delayed to 2024. Adding more lights, new calls for lights and cameras. Yeah, KVUE here. This was 6 months ago in summer, July 2024.
Crews with Austin Parks and Rec are working to add more lighting to the hike and bike trail near Lady Bird Lake.
It comes in after recent deaths in the water nearby. The lights will go up along East Avenue just south of Rainey Street over the next week. The city's worked to add more lights and safety measures in the area since we've seen these recent deaths over the years. So the city's also looking to add an alternative pedestrian route to keep walkers away from the water at night.
And here's the other bit. Development plans for Austin's crucial South Central waterfront remain on hold. And apparently this affected Lady Bird Lake, yeah. Austin's South Central waterfront covers more than 100 acres along Lady Bird Lake south of downtown. They say the rollout of the long-anticipated development regulations that could help extend the skyline. I don't know if this was including the CCTV or just the development. Does this require zoning? This is zoning. This is for high-rise. This just sounds like it's for high-rise. This might be the wrong one. Sounds like they're going to develop at least some of it. I know that we tried to research it earlier this year to see if they actually did put in those cameras. And I just remember them saying it was not going to get done before the end of the 2024 summer. And that they were like, oh, it might get done before the 2025 summer. So let me see. Safety improvements. Okay. Oh, no, they did. Here. Oh, Muffin. Hey, buddy. Stop sneezing.
Along the Rainey Street trailhead are almost done after community members called for better lighting and more safety improvements. This comes after several drownings at Lady Bird Lake. KVU's Isabella Basco spoke with Austinites about the changes.
John Langmore has lived in Austin about 30 years and runs along Lady Bird Lake 5 to 6 days a week. He's always noticed something's been missing.
When you run early in the morning and it's dark, you realize just even, where you step, you're always a little concerned of where you step. So, you definitely feel the absence of lighting.
Fellow Austinite Jorge Martinez also visits every weekend and shares a similar observation.
I could see a situation where after many, many years, you're going to get spots where you could have a dangerous situation where someone could slip into the river or fall accidentally or trip.
Concerns like these and several drownings over the last few years are why city leaders moved to improve the Rainey Street portion of the trail at Lady Bird Lake. Some of these changes include adding lighting along East Avenue and the trail, a camera at the corner of Rainey and Cumming Street, and fence improvements, which will be done.
Oh, my phone. A whole one camera. They're like, we can provide funding. We can give you one camera, just one, on 100 acres of shoreline. We can afford to run just one. It'll catch many ones of people every day. That's pretty dismal. One camera. I can tell you that Kaliza says there's a YouTuber who lives near the lake who says there are so many drunk people wandering off and falling into the lake. There's a similar case in Manchester in the UK of a mysterious boogeyman called the Pusher, who apparently pushes people into the canals in Manchester. They have a similar sort of like urban legend type of thing going on. And the police over there also say it's got nothing to do with like a murderer. It's like drunk people. It's an entertainment precinct. People trying to walk home. It's very slippery and dark. People fall in. People are dumb when they're drunk. And it's funny how it mirrors Lady Bird Lake. Hold on, let me see if I can find a news report for you. They did a documentary. I think I talked about it a while ago. That was called The Pusher. Investing in crime. No, we don't want to do that. Here, let's go to Greater Manchester Police. This is them talking about the myth of a serial killer in the canals in Manchester.
Manchester Police provided figures to a journalist on how many people had died in canals and waterways across Greater Manchester between 2008 and 2014. The information was presented to a professor who was led to believe the deaths had occurred in the city centre rather than the whole of the county. On the information provided, he believed there may have been foul play involved. In January 2015, the media published the story, claiming there may be a serial killer at large.
Each death has been thoroughly investigated from the outset. We deal with death, whether it be an accident, a drugs overdose, in very much the same way. And the purpose of our investigation is to identify if there's anything criminal happened to that individual. So in the case of somebody that goes into a canal or a water, have they been pushed? Have they been assaulted? Have they been robbed? Some of these have been as a result of people being pushed and robbed, and people have been arrested and prosecuted.
The widespread reporting understandably raised concerns amongst the local community. However, there is no evidence to indicate a killer or canal pusher is responsible. Those people who have fallen in and either climbed out or have been rescued have not reported anyone leading them to the water or following them and pushing them in.
This is upsetting for the families of those people that have died. They've gone through the inquest process. The coroners have been very supportive in this review and investigation. What they have said is if anybody has got any evidence to support that a person has died by a criminal matter, assaulted, then if it is evidence, they should bring it back to the coroner, bring it back to the police, and reinvestigate it. We have a very, very high detection rate for murders and manslaughters. We do a lot of work for these deaths, these investigations, and we will continue to do that. If a person has pushed somebody into a canal and we've been able to investigate it, that person has been traced, they've been interviewed, and on one such an occasion, one of these individuals has been interviewed. CPS have offered no charges because of the circumstances around it, and no prosecution has ensued. So there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever to support the story in the papers.
So there you go, very similar to the Ladybird Lake. I feel until they capture one of these deaths on camera, on the one CCTV camera they've given, people are not going to believe that, drunk people just fall into the water. Like that cop said, it doesn't mean that some of the cases are not criminal. It just doesn't mean that every case is done by the same person who haunts around in dark clothing, ready to push people into the water when they're like vulnerable. So, like in Nashville, Nashville. I mean, we heard a lot about that earlier this year in the Riley case. So, God, that was almost a year ago now. That feels like yesterday that we're talking about him. Khaleesi says, plus Ladybird Lake has lots of metal and wood garbage, so pretty dangerous to try and swim in it. Yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate how these sort of rumors seem to attract interest wherever there's water in a sort of city area, and a lot of people like die from water-related death. So even our friends in Manchester in the UK, they have the same type of stories that come out of the same area. Yeah, that's a very sad story. Still I have a lot of questions about that. By the way, I know that there's a lot of people celebrating the first night of Hanukkah. So I hope our Jewish friends have a great holiday. And they say the occurrence is here. So apparently it's pretty rare for the first day to fall on the same day as Christmas this year. And they say that occurrence is quite rare, and so it's pretty special. I think that's pretty cool. I hope our Jewish viewers enjoy their celebration. I know that they may do it a little differently to some of us other people, but that's life. We all do things slightly different, depending who we are, where we come from, what religion we subscribe to. That's just life. Here's DJ. Tell us all about the lake. The lake, which is technically a reservoir, has been off limits to swimmers since 1964, when Austin City Council banned swimming in what was then Town Lake. Yes, DJ was actually on the board of the city council back then. He's the one who actually made the decision after a man fell into the lake and lost his leg to, a shark, a giant great white shark. And then he's like, I have to close the river down. I have to protect the tourists. And then someone stole the story and turned it into Jaws. And to this day, DJ has never, he's never liked that movie because he felt like it stole his life story. But it was really based on a lake in Austin City Council back in 1964. Yeah, I think people get a bit too antsy when they're drunk. And there's also, I like the theory about male pee paralyzation when people have been drinking, that they can actually momentarily collapse from trying to pee in the water. I would be surprised if even a couple of the deaths are related to that. That would be interesting from a biological point of view. Reby says, hello and happy Christmas, friends. It's actually Boxing Day here, Reby. Where are you? Queensland isn't in another time date zone. You can act like it being a Queenslander, but it's not true. You're still on the east coast of Australia. And it's not Christmas in America either. Most of them have changed over, except on the west coast and Mountain Time. They're just clicking over. But yeah. Let you dream of multiple Christmases. Okay, I'll let you do that. All right. Let's see what we have here. By the way, if you guys wanted to see a little bit of the fire, I'll show you in a second. I've been checking the updates on and off while we've been on the show. I can show you a little bit while we're loading up the next story. Here you go. Here's that big area near the park I was showing you earlier near Ararat. You can see these red triangles. These are like bad news. Like these red triangles are like stuff's really bad. Big fire. Orange one means, keep your wits about you, have a look around, be ready to react. Yellow one's sort of like there's fire. It's sort of near. You should probably be somewhat alert. But those red ones are really bad. Every Grampians bushfire emergency warning as of 5 p.m. just turned 5 p.m. here 30 seconds ago. Emergency services are issuing and updating a swath of warnings after extreme and erratic afternoon winds saw a rapid change in conditions. The warnings are being updated faster than they have been all day under the threat of a shift in wind conditions. They say there's emergency warnings in Belfield, Flat Rock Crossing, Grampians Junction, Halls Gap, Mafeking. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I've never been there. Bournes Hill and North Boundary Road. Emergency warnings leave immediately. Langy Logan, Maroona, Mininera, Neran, Rossbridge, Streatham. I can't pronounce half these names. Westmere, Glen Thompson, Kia Ora, Moyston, Staveley, Strathmore, Wallora North, and Watch and Act Leave Now. Wow, it's just names, millions of suburbs. Yeah, you are in danger. 6 more towns told to leave. Too late to leave. So if you're in Belfield, they're saying it is too late to go. They say the fire has crossed Sundial Road. It's too late to leave the area safely, so you must take shelter. You must take shelter before the fire arrives. The warning told residents the extreme heat was likely to kill them well before the flames reached them, and urged those who had not evacuated to shelter in a room with 2 exits. It comes as residents were told it was too late to leave around 1 o'clock today. Far out. There's the fire front right there, at least part of it. Apparently it looks like a wall of fire. People who have driven past it saying it looks like just hundreds of kilometers of fire front. So that wind change is coming through right now, actually, as of 5 o'clock down here. And I can show you why. Hold on. There you go. You can see it here. Here you can see these strong winds starting to come through and affect everywhere. I can't go wider, I don't think, because our bureau is terrible. But you can see that system coming in from the west, pushing in to the east of the state. This is what they're worried about. This change in directly. You're getting these northerlies now coming through. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So this looks like cloud or rain, but I'm guessing some of this might be fire smoke too. But yeah, big system coming in. Let's look at the national. There you go. There's that looks like a front, cold front coming through, pushing east. Probably a low pressure system right here. And it's yeah, that's what's causing all this wind change. Finally making it into Victoria. And we'll see what happens once it gets all the way through. Not of Christmas, of not living in Queensland. I feel your pain. I lived there for 5 years myself. I lived there for 5 years. I know what it's like. I can tell you, I lived in Queensland when there was a hurricane. Not a hurricane, a cyclone. And I remember it was going to affect our area, and like all the shops closed at like 1 p.m. And it hit us at like 4, and then the streets turned to rivers, and then everyone went outside and surfed in the streets, basically. They were having fun in the water, which you probably shouldn't do, but what else are you going to do? All right. I know it's late Christmas night. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I hope you've eaten so much turkey that you are very feeling sick on the couch. I hope hope you had great food. All right, let's see. By the way, no update for that one that I told you yesterday of that weird body that was found on the side of the road. Let me double check that. There is an update 2 hours ago. Ping was right. I said yesterday it was very strange that they called in the crash investigation unit, and I was like, that's weird. Why would you do that if it's a murder? Well, they've charged that guy with a fatal hit and run. That makes a lot of sense. That he probably hit him in the middle of the night and didn't see him.
This is the latest from the news.
They're saying here, man charged after alleged fatal hit and run on Christmas Day. Man has been charged after another man's body was found on the side of a regional road on Christmas Day. They're saying a man has been charged. He's 27. The body of the man in his 20s was discovered on the side of a Martyville road south of Innisfail about 5:20 a.m. on Wednesday. The man's body was discovered by an off-duty police officer who was making inquiry at a nearby address. They're saying police will allege the man was struck by a car and the driver failed to stop and assist him. A 27-year-old man was arrested at a nearby home and has since been charged with driving without due care, causing death, and failing to remain at an incident and render assistance. He is expected to appear in Cairns Magistrate Court on Thursday. Police are asking anyone with information or dash cam footage from the area to come forward. The forensic crash unit and the criminal investigative branch continue to investigate. So, just like we theorized yesterday, that it was probably a hit and run. Definitely a hit and run. Gail says, I didn't eat apart from a few roast veg and potatoes. Everyone else had loads. Well, I'm happy that they did. I don't know why you didn't. But Ruby says, I'm Victorian in my heart. Forever Victorian. That's all right. Victoria's going through like a down period right now. It's probably best that you're not here. It's going through, it sort of goes in like waves, and right now we're right at the bottom of the wave. It's at the lowest part of the, it's not good right now in Victoria. Gayla says it felt a bit yucky. Well, I often feel like that when I read about true crime, and I'm like, oh, I've got to eat meat. Great. Give me all those beetroots and gravy. Makes it so much better. Although, if you make cream potatoes, nothing will stop me from eating the entire tray of it. You know those cream potatoes with the cheese on top? I will just sit there with a spoon and eat it in front of the computer watching documentaries. I'm not allowed to do that anymore, though. I used to do that every Boxing Day. I'd either get a family member to make it or I would make it, and you do the cream and the cheese and stuff like that and the onions, and I'd make like a whole tray of it, and I would just sit there the next day on Boxing Day and eat it, heat it up and just eat parts of it. I'm not allowed to do that anymore though. My cholesterol won't let me. They're saying here 4 out of control fires. All right, let's get out of that. What time is it? 5 o'clock. Okay. Let's see what else we have from around the world. Oh, Beyonce played at the Texan Ravens halftime show. Great. Great. Fantastic. Who cares? All right. Here, this one's very interesting. We've read a few stories over the years of people who try to smuggle themselves onto airways. And now that I'm safely back on the ground and not flying in an airplane, I'm allowed to watch air crash investigations again. But I can show you what happened over Christmas. And I always find these very interesting because I have to ask, what would make you so desperate to get into this situation? So we're going to head to CBS Chicago.
In here at 5 with that developing story and a big unanswered question. How did someone manage to sneak onto the tarmac, apparently at O'Hare, and into a wheel well without anyone noticing? Our Noel Brennan joins us live from the newsroom with a story. Noel?
Well, Joe, in addition to how, we don't know when the person was able to get inside the plane. No one appeared to know a person was hiding in the wheel well until after that plane touched down in Hawaii.
Climbing 5,000 O'Hare 80, Unit 1815, United 1811.
A routine Christmas Eve flight out of O'Hare escapes the clouds of Chicago for clear Hawaiian skies. The United flight arrives at Kahului Airport in Maui right on time. It's not until landing that a routine flight takes an abrupt turn. United Airlines says a body was found in the wheel well of one of the main landing gears, an area only accessible from the outside of the plane. FlightAware shows the Boeing 787-10 had flown from Sao Paulo, Brazil, directly to Chicago, then had a 4.5-hour layover here before leaving for Maui. Hiding in the wheel well is a common method for stowaways, but the FAA says most don't survive. If the landing gear doesn't crush them, they encounter the elements, lack of oxygen and the freezing cold. That's not to say stowaways haven't been successful. Marilyn Hartman even made it a habit. Dubbed the serial stowaway, she got past security to board more than 24 domestic and international flights at O'Hare and Midway. And just last month, a woman snuck onto a Delta flight from New York to Paris. But hiding under the belly of a plane raises entirely different questions about security.
I remember a story about a guy who smuggled himself onto one of these, and he fell from it in England, and he died, unfortunately. Yeah, you have to ask, how on earth do you get onto the tarmac? It's very strange, and why would you do it? I mean, maybe some people are desperate to get home. I have no idea, but yes, you can freeze. It is very cold at 20,000 feet. You can die, but I've heard of people successfully doing it. They climb in the wheel well and then somehow make it inside, and they survive, if not with some frostbite and very dehydrated. Potato dafama, yeah, yes, that is the one. Yeah, very strange, right? But what if I told you that this is not the strangest occurrence of someone trying to get home? What if I told you there's an even weirder one from like 40 years ago? What if I told you that someone posted themselves back home? Yes, posted. They sent themselves via courier back to Australia. I don't know if I ever told you about this one, but there was a guy who posted himself back to Australia to meet his baby. Yeah, man. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, let's go to APR. I don't know, actually. I don't know if I can use that one. Yeah.
There was an advert in the local newspaper, and I applied for a job, got accepted, and that was it. I was on my way.
Brian travelled to Melbourne in Australia, but he was homesick and isolated without any money to return to Wales. Then a glimpse of a removals company sign one day gave him an idea.
I said to my two Irish friends, actually, I said, I'm going back to the UK. And they said, yes, we all are, but how are you planning to get back there? And I said, in a box.
In May 1965, his friends packed him into the crate, and hours later he was on his way home. But he was upside down and in pain.
I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what day it was. I think you'd have asked me my name at that time. I probably didn't know that either. I mean, I was in a pretty bad condition, to be honest.
Unbeknown to Brian, he'd been loaded onto a Pan Am plane to Los Angeles because his direct flight had been full. When he was discovered, chaos ensued.
That's one. That's one guy who tried it. I'm pretty sure there was a guy who actually got posted the other way from England to Australia. Hold on. This guy never got caught. He actually made it to Australia, somehow got out of the box, cut his way out. He had wire cutters on him or found them, cut his way out of the secure facility and ran and somehow got a taxi to his girlfriend's home in Australia. Yeah, the man who posted himself to Australia, they're saying in the mid-1960s, Australian athlete, I think his name is Reg Spears or Spires, found himself stranded in London with no money to buy a plane ticket back home. Desperate to get back to Australia in time for his daughter's birthday, he decided to post himself in a wooden crate. He said, I just got in the thing and went. What was there to be frightened of? I'm not frightened of the dark, so I just sat there. It's like when I travel now if I go overseas. That's the seat. Sit in it and go. Reg makes it sound very straightforward more than half a century later, but it caused a media storm in Australia at the time. He explained his attitude like this. I've come up with this mad scheme to get back to Australia in a box. Who can say it won't work? Let's give it a shot. And I heard that him and his buddies actually had to develop it with like handles and apparently where they put him when he went to the cargo hold in London, they put him up very high, but the guy who put him up there didn't balance him right, and he almost fell from like 3 levels up, and he would have probably died from the fall. But somehow they caught it that it was unbalanced, and they put it right, and he made it on a plane. I think it took many hours to get to Australia back then, a lot longer than it does today. And he somehow made it to a secure facility, broke out in the middle of the night when everyone went home, cut through the fence, and just went on the run. Apparently, they tried to bill him for his excess freight, but he never paid for it. He just went, you can't prove it. You can't prove that I did it. And he never had to pay. Gayla says, like Flat Stanley posting himself, very similar. I think maybe it was different back then. I think if you tried that today, they would find you in a second. Like they x-ray everything. I don't think you would have a very, you just wouldn't be able to do it today, I don't think. This was the crate here. This is what all he had. He strapped himself in. You can see the arm straps here. He had a bit of a pillow or stuff here, blanket, and it had latches on the door for when he had to get out back in Australia. So people trying to get themselves home or to another location is nothing new. It's been going on for decades. It's been going on for a long time. So, but very sad about the one in Chicago. Let me find another article about that one. Here, get out of here. The one in the United Airlines plane that was found in the wheel well when it made it to Maui. They're saying officials in Hawaii are investigating after a body was discovered in the wheel well of a United Airlines plane that flew from Chicago to Maui on Christmas Eve. The body was discovered on a Boeing 787-10 aircraft. The statement added, Flight UA202 arrived in Hawaii Tuesday afternoon and was on time according to FlightAware. The wheel well was only accessible from the outside of the aircraft, United Airlines said. At this time, it's not clear how or when the person accessed the wheel well. United is working with local law enforcement, the statement said. Police on Maui did not immediately respond for comment. The police is investigating the body's discovery. According to CNN affiliate Hawaii News Now, it's unclear how the body ended up in the plane's wheel well or how the person died. Hiding in a plane's wheel well is the most common method used by stowaways in their sought-after journeys. Over 77% of people who have attempted to hitch an illegal ride on an aircraft have died, according to the FAA. Stowaways often get crushed when the landing gear retracts, as there's not much room. In many aircraft, the space is even smaller than the trunk of a car. As the flight reaches higher altitudes, conditions get worse. Oxygen levels become extremely low, and stowaways struggle to keep conscious. During the flight, temperatures outside an aircraft can drop dramatically, reaching as low as 75 to 80 degrees below zero, which isn't conducive to blood flow. Stowaways risk frostbite and even hypothermia. So it's not a smart move. It's really not. It's very dangerous. Yeah, very dangerous. I don't think I would like to do that, no matter how much I needed to get to Hawaii. Why would you do that from Chicago to Hawaii? What would you be your motivation? I need to get to a tropical island. It's very beautiful. There's a big family reunion and I can't afford a ticket. Let's see, flight UA202. Where else has it gone? Let's have a look. Normally these flights just fly on a route and they just go backwards and forwards. So let's have a look. Arrived over a day ago, gate 1 at O'Hare International to Hawaii. Let's have a look. It seems like it just goes back and forward, yeah. Any other place it goes to? It was in Minneapolis on Wednesday and Newark Liberty International. So it either does the two different routes by the looks of it, Chicago to Hawaii or St. Paul, Minneapolis to Newark or Newark, yeah. Where is that? Newark. Where's ERR? New Jersey. So it either does Chicago to Hawaii or Minnesota and Minneapolis to New Jersey. Weird flight, but sure. There you go. So could it have been someone that was already trapped from this route and then it got taken to Chicago and then taken to Hawaii? I don't know. Maybe. Upcoming flights look like it's only going to the tropical island. Don't know why it was doing these short flights in between, but mostly it only does the 8 to 9 hour flight from Chicago to Hawaii. So, yes, you can make fun of me for my pronunciation of Hawaii. Go ahead. Listen to the news we just heard. What? Oh, listen to the article. I can't hear it, unfortunately. Since we changed the computer, I can't hear any of the videos I play. I don't know why. Gail says, I think they died on the first leg from Panama. Panama? It doesn't even list that here. Unless it's before. When was this? Saturday the 14th of December, 16th, 17th, 18. Hold on. Tuesday, the 24th. That's interesting. It doesn't show a trip to Panama. You can see it here. See, 16th, on the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, it was doing that trip from Minneapolis to New Jersey and back. It doesn't list a trip anywhere over there. And then the rest of them are Chicago to there. See, 19th, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 is when he was found, or he or she was found here. And then it flew again the next day. I don't know. I think it was Panama. Well, it doesn't show that. If they've got some flight that they've scrubbed from the records because of the investigation, but it doesn't show a flight to Panama on this. I mean, I don't see one. Yeah, no, I have to fix the audio issue. I don't know why it's not looping back to me now like it used to. I used to be able to listen with you, but at the moment, only you guys can hear, and I don't know why. So we have to figure that out. Let me see. United 202 UA. Flight stats. Let's check. Yeah, I don't know. United Airlines A202. Let me try a different website. Maybe they have an explanation for that, of what that means. Tragic incident unfolded. Arrived in safely in, over here. Following an earlier flight from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm pronouncing it badly. It headed to Maui with a planned trip in. The only said the body was just going to well when arrived in Maui. It doesn't show. It's weird. It doesn't show a flight to, unless it was a code share or something like that. And it's not showing up under that specific flight number. It could be like some sort of code share flight, but it doesn't show here at all. According to Flight 24 and Flight Aware, United flight UA202 departed from Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, or ORD, at 9:31 local time on December 24. The Boeing 787-10 registered as N12010. If you search the tail number, we might have probably got all the flights. But because we're searching a flight number, it probably just showed the flights with United or on that specific route. So that normally the flight number is just for a specific, route it does. But if you've searched that tail number, the N12010, probably would have got a more complete flight history. The aircraft was originally scheduled for the return flight UA203 from Maui later that afternoon, but the flight was cancelled following the incident. While the identity of the deceased is yet to be confirmed, CNN reported that the scenario strongly suggested the man may have been attempting to stow away on the flight. That doesn't surprise me. Here. Apparently, the New York Times reported that a 22-year-old man from Kenya was discovered alive in the front wheel section of a cargo jet in January 2022, following an 11-hour journey from Johannesburg to Amsterdam. Oh my God. To Dutch military. According to Dutch military police, the individual was found under the aircraft's nose wheel when it landed in Amsterdam and was immediately sent to the hospital. The man made it through the trip despite the intense cold at high elevations. A similar case happened in 2021 when a stowaway hidden in the landing gear compartment of an American Airlines jet survived a flight from his home country of Guatemala to Miami. That's a hell of a flight, Guatemala to Miami. Jesus, that's a long flight. This person unfortunately did not make it, and if they're coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil, that's very tragic. Yeah, Brazil. Hey, Miley, how are you? Miley May, good to see you. I hope you had a great Christmas too. Play it on Mrs. Ping's phone. That might be a solution for now. Yeah, it's like I can hear some of them, but not all of them. I think it's got something to do with the software that we're running. The old motherboard had a different software where I could switch between different inputs and outputs very easily. It had like a little panel where you could just go like, oh, it's for this to this, and it was like clicking. You just clicked it. This one just doesn't have that feature, and I don't know why, but it just does not. I have to figure out how to do it. So new technical computer, have to figure out how to use it. Have to figure out all the quirks of it. It took us a long time to figure out the quirks of the old computer. Now we've got to figure out this one. All right. Very sad. I don't think anyone should die trying to. It's also very silly to jump into a wheel well. I don't think that's a good idea for anyone. Actually, do you guys want to know an interesting fact about the fires that are going on in Victoria right now? Was it Russia? I saw it, but I don't think it's Russia. I think it's a different country, like Kazakhstan or something like that. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about why they think it's not crashed as well. Get this. So last night I was researching why, because I was watching the radar. This radar, I'll show you. So I'm a flight person. I like to watch all the flights. Here's one of them. So you can see the helicopters and stuff flying across the fire region right now. Actually, there's not a lot out. Yesterday there was like 50 aircraft over this area dumping water. I don't know why we can't see them today, but there's not many bombers out. It's weird. That one. This one does fire scans of the front. This one goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's taking images of the fire front. This one looks like might be a bomber, might be picking up water in a bucket and dumping it. I was researching why, and I was watching all these aircraft going around. I was like, oh, there's a Black Hawk, there's, this tiny helicopter, there's a lot of aeroplanes, there's a C-130 out there. But I was like, where is the Ericsson Sky Cranes? Like, we always have the Ericsson Sky Cranes down here for fire season every year. Every year we used to get Elvis and Georgia Peach used to come and a bunch of other ones. I think now we've got Bubba and another one. But I was like, why is there no Ericsson Sky Cranes? And they sometimes fly over my house. Well, I was doing some research and I discovered apparently they're not here yet. They are not in Australia and they're supposed to be in Victoria on the worst day since Black Saturday over a decade ago. We don't have one of the best tools to fight fires because it is stuck in America fighting bushfires in America. Apparently the bushfire season in America went longer than expected and they haven't finished their work in America, so they have not even been packed up to be shipped to Australia for our fire season, and we're already a month into summer. And as you can see, we've already got bad bushfires. So they haven't even made it here yet. They're not going to be here till sometime like mid-January. I can show you the statement here. Here. From fireaviation.com, they released this statement only a couple of days ago when they already knew of that giant Grampians fire that's down here. So these are those Ericsson Sky Cranes. They're massive. We've actually had them on the stream before. They've flown over my house to go to the airport. and they're just so loud, super loud. Here. They say late season fires in the Northern Hemisphere have delayed the arrival of some of the fleet. In Victoria, the announcement of the summer firefighting fleet of 54 aircraft was tempered by the statement that 2 air cranes will also join the fleet once their service period ends in North America. 3 additional aircraft will be on short-term contracts until the air cranes arrive. Yeah, I'm sure 3 Black Hawks make up for 2 giant Ericsson Sky Cranes. I'm sure that definitely makes up for it. So yeah, missing in action right now are the big Ericsson Sky Cranes from Victoria. So they are stuck in America right now, and who knows when they're coming here. Not good news, because it means we're going to have to rely on other aircraft to try and help us. So what is it? I don't know. Yeah, we watched last night. Khalees said we're going to need many more of the firefighting cranes with the increased fires in Australia. I agree. I don't understand why our country doesn't buy some and keep them here full time instead of we lease them from the company. I don't know what company. I don't know if it's Coulston or there's another one. Is it? I can't remember the name. It starts with a K. Those two, I don't know if they rent them from those companies, but and also that the US is having late fires. It's terrible. Definitely, it's hard if there's not enough of these to go around the countries, and with the warming of the earth, that these fire seasons are starting to go longer than they used to. Can't have it happen every year where the cranes just don't come out till February, because that's like the summer season is half done. There has to be a better solution. These things are one of the greatest tools for helping, because they can lift so much water. They can, really dump a ton of water. Although I heard some of the little ones are really good because they can refill quicker, so they can actually do quite a lot of damage to the fire front because they're a faster refill than the Sky Crane. But Sky Crane's pretty cool. But there you go. So if you're wondering why there is no Sky Cranes out fighting the fires today in Victoria, that's why. Because they're not here. They're still in America. Also, apparently a couple of years ago, we crashed one. I don't know if I ever told you on this channel, but apparently a couple of years ago, we actually crashed an Ericsson Sky Crane in Victoria. I'll see if I can find a photo for you. It collided in the water. Let me see if I can find a photo of when it happened. There he is. He's underwater. He's lying on his side in a lake, in a dam. They're not sure what happened. Pilot error, not sure. But he took a long time to be recovered. They took quite a while. Let's see. There's another there's another photo of it. They had to put like buoyancy things around it while they recovered the aircraft. But yeah, apparently it crashed. There's another photo. This was the dam that it was trying to pick up water from, and there's the aircraft submerged in the dam where it stayed for many months. So Reby says Shanghai had to buy one of these monster crafts because they couldn't fight fires in all the high-rise buildings. That's very interesting. I don't know why we don't own any. I would like to know why. Kaliza says, seems, yeah, we're having more fires. Yep. Hey, Thavi, good to see you. Merry Christmas. Let me check in on this. Cyclone Tracy, we did that yesterday. All right. Fire evacuations. Yep. All right. Let's do the plane crash. Hold on.
Terrifying scene in the skies over the Caspian Sea. An Azerbaijan Airlines jet precariously flying across the sky, sharply losing altitude, then apparently trying to straighten out before crashing in a fiery explosion. A large section of the Embraer 190 fuselage still intact. A shocked survivor stumbling out, still on his feet, as others rush past into the wreckage to rescue more passengers. Incredibly, at least 29 people survived the initial crash, including 3 children. Families of some of the 67 on board searched for news of their loved ones at an airport in Russia. This man, who had a relative on the plane, saying, "We just got photos and videos of him. He is safe and healthy and walking." The flight took off from Baku, Azerbaijan, early this morning, bound for the Chechen capital of Grozny in southern Russia. Russian state media said the aircraft was diverted due to fog. The site Flight Radar 24's tracking data showed the plane making a figure 8 near the airport in Kazakhstan, then sharply gaining and losing altitude in the final minutes before impact.
All right. I'm going to show you something here. They said that they found bullet holes in the plane. Check this out. There's like these shrapnel holes in the plane itself, in the skin covering. All these little tiny holes that they think might be from weapons, or yeah, it may have been shot down. That's right. I know that guy just walked out of the plane. He's like, "What happened? Did we land? Why am I here? I'm alive? Okay." That poor guy. He's probably like, "This is my luckiest day ever." He'd probably feel very thankful that he survived. They're saying here, footage of the aeroplane that crashed and killed 38 people shows suspicious holes in the fuselage, leading to rumors that the aircraft was shot down by Russians. Well, let's not blame Russia for everything. They're saying here, according to the plane's course on Flight Radar 24, it was flying over the Republic of Dagestan along the Caspian Sea coast after it disappeared from tracking, suggesting it was exposed to air defense systems in Russia. Okay, we can blame them a little bit. It then showed up around half an hour later off course and flying low above the water near western Kazakhstan before crashing. Ahead of the crash, the crew had reported a strong impact on the hull. They assumed the aircraft hit a flock of birds, but later it was reported that it was the explosion of an oxygen tank to supply the cockpit in the event of depressurization. So they had a depressurization event. This supposed sudden depressurization of the cylinder caused significant damage to the hull and its scattering into fragments, but new footage shows gaping holes in the side of the wreckage and has raised questions whether birds or an exploded oxygen tank could have downed the plane. There have been suggestions that Russia's air defense might have caused the crash, as it doesn't seem like birds. There's another photo of those supposed bullet holes in the plane. Thavi says, "I'm not surprised." Yeah, that's right. We can blame them a little bit. But yeah, very suspicious. I don't know what that would be. Unless you had like 100 birds and all their beaks all hit the side of the plane like dartboard, like you're throwing darts. Maybe. Maybe that's what happened. Pretty awful though. 38 people lost their lives. Not something pretty awful. It could be a crime. And you see that fireball. The fact that guy actually made it out of there, it's a miracle. He just walked out of the plane, whatever you call, like the part of the plane that was snapped in half. He just kind of walked out. And he's like, "Hey, how you doing, everyone? My name's whatever." They do look very suspicious, right? Darby says, not birds. Usually birds take out engines, like a bird strike. That's right. I've never seen birds do that to a plane, like the holes in it. Although I'm not a guy from air crash investigations, so yeah, I'm not sure what's going on in Victoria right now, by the way. All the firefighting aircraft are all going in away from the big fire, so I just saw a weird update. I'm not sure what they're doing. It's weird. All the aircraft are in a different location. Rachel said he's very lucky. Yeah. Let's see, where is that guy? What part of the plane did he come out of? I wanted to see, yeah, he sort of hopped out of this part, this area here. He just sort of walked out. After that fireball that we saw, I would be surprised if no one survived. Look at that. It's crazy. They're saying, yeah. So we'll see. There's some more damage. Look at that. It is very suspicious, but I don't know. Maybe it could have been caused when it crashed, maybe? Yeah. There we go. In the tail. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's why you always pick the seats in the tail of the aircraft. Yes. All right. All right. All right. Let's see what else I have here. Wow. They just did an update on the bushfire down here. That's kind of crazy. What are they saying now? 4 out of... Yeah, we already know that one. All right, that's that. Yeah, residents forced to flee. Dozens of residents have fled to Stawell evacuation center north of the Grampians. They say residents have been evacuated twice in 6 weeks of living in Australia. Oh no. A guy called Josh and his girlfriend or wife called or friend called Becky have been evacuated twice in just 6 weeks of living in Australia from the UK. They arrived with their car full of personal belongings after they were told to leave their holiday park about 4 p.m. on Boxing Day. They said, we got a knock on our doors telling us to pack up and find a relief center. We had already packed the car ready to go. We just grabbed two go bags to get today. It's like the ground doesn't want us to be here, but the people do. Everyone has been so nice to us. They said significant fire development. State Control Center issues afternoon update. They're saying the State Control Center has issued an afternoon update on the Grampians bushfire as 6 emergency warnings remain in place for residents in the area. They said, we've seen significant fire development this afternoon as we anticipated, with that wind change really starting to affect parts of the fire ground. We've seen expansion of the fire to the southeast this morning and early this afternoon with the northwesterly winds. Now we're starting to see parts of the fire ground become affected by wind change moving through. And they said, please be aware that through this area, we are seeing significant wind that is affecting not only the fire, there are trees that are down in the area. If you're planning to travel through that area, please change your plans, seek alternate routes, and keep up to date through the Vic Emergency app website. The State Control expects the next update to come within the next 1 to 2 hours on the fire. Oh, I hope people out there are okay. Ruby says, Kazakhstan is a hotbed of military upheaval. I have an old student from there. I often have old students too. I like to keep them around. Last year I heard from him when he needed to get out of the country as it was too violent, too many guns. Yeah, I know. Snap Crackle Pop, hey y'all. Hey, how was your Christmas? I hope you had a lovely Christmas day. Muffin, what are you doing, buddy? By the way, I had a very nice person, if I can find it. It was a couple of days ago. Oh yes. Woman of Steel was very kind and sent in a donation to the Ko-Fi. So I only saw it when I got my email back up and working today. So if she thinks I was ignoring her, I'm not. But thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. That was very kind of you. And thank you for your lovely message inside. I did get to read it today. It's very sweet of you. Snap Crackle Pop says, love filled. Sure. Depends under what context, but yes. I don't know. Oh, you mean Christmas? Oh, yeah, sure. Yes, very love filled. All right. I don't think we have that. Christmas is a little quiet. Let me see what else I have. And then we're going to start winding up for the night. What? Not again. Oh, for F's sake. Oh, yeah, I read about this last night. Actually, yeah, this will be the last story. Really? We can't even have a Christmas without a woman dying? Come on. Come on, Melbourne. So this is in Langwarrin. Langwarrin's about 20 minutes from me, actually. It's just down the road. They said a woman who was allegedly stabbed to death by her husband at home on Boxing Day had hosted Christmas Day celebrations at the same property the day before as police charged her husband with murder. The woman, 59, was found dead at her Langwarrin home in Melbourne southeast around 6:30 a.m. today. Police and paramedics raced to the scene after reportedly receiving a call from the woman's husband, age 63, who also lived at the home. Officers arrested a 63-year-old man at the address who is known to the woman, Victoria Police said in a statement published just before 5 p.m. on Thursday. The Langwarrin man has been charged with murder and will face Melbourne Magistrates Court today. Homicide Squad Detective Inspector Dean Thomas said it seemed as though the woman had suffered multiple stab wounds. They said it's still very early and we're trying to piece it together so we know exactly what the timelines look like and what has occurred. The Detective Inspector Thomas said the couple's family, including their 3 adult children, had all gathered at the home the day before to celebrate Christmas. That's awful. They say the family of the victim have been spoken to and obviously they're extremely upset. We're here on Boxing Day, he said. They're very, very upset and distraught. Here we have what appears to be a family violent type incident. One death is too many. Victorian Police is doing everything we can to try and reduce the incidence of family violence and violence against women. A crime scene has been established while detectives investigate to determine the circumstances surrounding the death. Oh, really, can't even have Christmas and New Year's without a woman being killed in a DV situation. And it's in Melbourne again. Muffin. Sneezy boy. Awful. Langwarrin, woman 59. Let me see if I can find anything else about it. But that update about his charges just came through just before 5 o'clock. That is, yeah, new information. Let me see here. Let me pause that. Wood Duck Court. Marv. They say a 63-year-old man has been arrested after his 59-year-old wife was found stabbed to death in the alleged family violent incident in Melbourne southeast on Boxing Day. The woman's husband called emergency services, that's interesting, to the couple's Langwarrin home in Wood Duck Court about 6:30 a.m. on Thursday. The woman was located with fatal stab wounds and was declared deceased at the scene. The homicide squad was then notified and the 63-year-old man arrested at the couple's home. They say the couple had moved into the home months prior and had family over the day before. Police confirmed the pair had adult children who have been notified and were distraught over their mother's death. There is no police record of family violence between the two or criminal activity. Authorities established a crime scene at the home and detectives are investigating. Police located a possible weapon at the scene and detectives are still scouring the home for evidence. They say no charges have been laid, but no, they have now. And the husband has been charged with murder. So, are they giving a size on that fire? I haven't heard any hectares or anything like that. Let me see if there was an update on it. I know they said it might burn for weeks. They said it might be Grampians. So far they're saying the blaze is now 55,000 hectares in size, and that update was 8 hours ago, so I expect it to be even bigger now. They're saying 1/3 of the Grampians National Park is on fire. That is crazy. That is 55,000 hectares. That is a lot of area. Let's see. So that is the Grampians right here, the national park. And this black outline here is the fire. So you can see it is about 1/3 of that green area. This whole area here is the fire front or the fire. So yeah, it is probably about 1/3 of the Grampians right there. So it's going to be a long recovery for that area. They're saying people in Stawell and Ararat to keep watch and act, so keep an eye out. Firefighters travel from around Australia to support Victoria. Over 100 staff from Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania, and the ACT have been deployed to assist teams today. Very kind of people coming in from different states to help us. Yeah. So there's your update, 55,000 hectares. Yeah, definitely. We've had a lot of lucky fire seasons over the last few years where it hasn't been very bad, even though up north it's been quite bad. But yeah, this year seems to be quite severe. So I don't think we're going to get off easy this year. What? I want to see this. All right, last story for the night, and we're going to get out of here. Fremantle Christmas parties cleared by police. DJ charged for turning up the music. They say 2 out-of-control Christmas parties with hundreds of attendees were shut down by police, but one DJ allegedly ignored police and tried to keep the festivities going. They say the Fremantle gatherings in Western Australia were cleared in the early morning on Boxing Day, with police dispersing the crowd of more than 600 people around 12:30 at night. Police say the crowd was dispersed without any issues. There you go, you can see all the people. Officers were called to a second party attended by about 200 people at Port Beach around 3 a.m., which police believe comprised of several attendees of the previous party. The event was declared out of control gathering, with the majority of attendees complying with orders to move on. However, police allege a DJ at the beachfront party ignored multiple requests to shut down the event. Instead, police claimed he turned up the music. But that's what the songs tell us to do. All the songs tell us to turn up the music. He was only doing what the music told him to do. What are we supposed to do? You know, Gloria Estefan warned us that the rhythm was always going to get us. You know, he turned up the music. That's what the song told him. Police seized the man's DJ equipment and told him to leave the area, which he allegedly failed to do. The 28-year-old from the affluent Perth suburb of Melville has been charged with failing to comply with an order. Whose order? The police or the music's? Because the music told him to turn it up. I think he should be, he should be cleared of that charge. He definitely complied with the order. The order was to turn the music up. He's also been charged with, he's just been charged with that one count of failing to comply with an order relating to an out-of-control gathering. It's almost like a badge of honor. He's like, can I get that laminated? I'm going to put that on my wall. Can you also put in the bit about turning the music up? I really want that on my, on my wall. I was charged with failing to comply with an order, and I turned up the music related to an out-of-control gathering. That'll go great on my resume. I'm going to host many more parties in the future. They'll definitely want to know about this. He is set to appear before Fremantle Magistrates Court on January 24. Oh, they should all go there and then turn up the music. That would be hilarious. Sounds like a good party. Sounds like everyone was having fun until the cops came. Boo, boo, boo. Let them have fun. It sounds like it was a hell of a party. I know, it's like, put down your DJ turntables. We don't want any trouble. Don't be turning the music up. That is a violent act. You know, I feel like sometimes I just read you a story of a woman who was stabbed to death by her husband in her house on Boxing Day after she hosted a Christmas Day lunch at her home. And then we read a story about a guy who was charged for turning the music up. I feel like there's a disparity there between these two different crimes. Some very serious, some just stupid. It's like I'd rather we deal with the people who are killing the women rather than the guy who won't turn down the music. Cops are such a bummer. I know, especially at Christmas. I mean, if that was the Christmas one, what's going to happen at New Year's? Why are we watching a guy with heaps of marijuana? I don't. I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't want to watch it. Actually, do you guys want to see what happened in Sydney before we go? They had like their annual thing at Bronte, and there was everyone dressed in red. Hold on, I'll show you. Every year at Bronte, they have this insane party over there of like all these people, but it's the next day that get people. Look at how much trash they let. This is what it looked like yesterday. There's all these people. They're all dressed in red, like Christmas red. And this is the next day. Look at all the trash that they left behind. They just leave it out. There's a drunk girl, and you can see this is there's all the rubbish. They decided that they would leave as a present to nature. There's that drunk girl again. And yeah, they just had hundreds of people out there yesterday. Yeah. All the people cheering, dancing. They left a whole person, that's right. They dumped a whole person. That was yesterday out at Bronte, but they are notorious. There you go. That's how packed it was out there. Everyone dressed like Santa or Christmas. Lots of swimmers, lots of bikinis up girls' butts by the looks of it. Lots of girls not knowing how to, keep those swimmers out of their butts. You can see a lot of drink bottles. I think it's supposed to be a dry event, but hey, where there's a party, there's probably going to be drunk people. Yeah, there you go. Heineken and Tui's New. And then a bunch of people. Yeah, so it's apparently a pretty good party. A lot of fun. But the trash they leave behind is pretty bad. Oh, this guy too. This guy tried to jump off a cliff. He slipped and landed on the concrete. And emergency services had to take him to hospital for his accident. I'm not going to repeat that, but yes. Ruby says, I may not have wanted to be at the party at my advancing years, but I sure as hell would have been there 30 years ago. You can go there now. That's fine. Who cares? Party when you're older. I don't care. I like the older people. At the wedding, I hung out with a 70-year-old. He's like the coolest dude I know. He's awesome. Every time we get together, we have a great time. Hey, Catatonic. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Yeah, that guy that fell on the concrete, he's not having a good Christmas. Tried to jump off a cliff, slipped, and landed on the concrete below. So he's not having a good day. Not a good day for him. There you go. There's him getting carted away by emergency services. Rush to St. Vincent's Hospital in Sydney in a serious condition. They even dispatched a helicopter for him. Oh, he's not having a great day. There you go. There's the trash. There you go. All the trash they left behind. That is one hell of a cleanup. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. All right, it's been a bit of a weird show because like there's not a ton to talk about, but I try to fill it up with enough fun stuff for you that at least it's not boring. But I will see you. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have more shows tomorrow, I promise. Gayla says I would have been there in my younger years, but now shouting, screaming, people just get me so annoyed. Get off my lawn or my beach. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope we have more people tomorrow, hopefully. I know everyone's quite busy today, so I totally understand. I'll probably wake up to a million comments. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a great sleep in. Have a great Boxing Day in America if you do that. If not, have a great Thursday. Good night. Bye. Bye-bye. Like and subscribe, please. Hit those buttons. I would appreciate it. Good night.